Okay. Yeah, we're on. Yep. Yeah, I'll give you a call back later. He's actually live right now. All right, bye-bye. Sorry about that, Tom. We couldn't connect initially, so I just gave a call to Jennifer.
No worries. I couldn't either. So, what's the same?
So we'd like to thank you for joining us here at Rutgers University. And thank you for taking the time out to give a presentation on yourself. And if you have any questions, we'd just like to hand it off to you.
Awesome. No. But just so you guys know, I'm also here in Newark, New Jersey. I don't know how easily I can spin this around, but just so you guys see that you're in good company here. So they're waving back. I guess you guys consider it. So I'm here at Founders, which is a pretty incredible company founded by Gerard Adams, who I highly encourage you guys to look up online. It's pretty amazing what he and his team are doing. And I think is somewhat similar to the journey that you guys are about to embark on, which is really trying to see what you can build in the world. Gerard had a tremendous amount of success, and it was really interesting to be walked through his story, and I'll walk you guys through mine in a second, but I'm so inspired right now. These guys, even the chills up to my head about what they're doing. But Gerard he exited the company and could have retired to South Beach of Florida with an amazing house, a pool, and just said, fuck it. But he didn't want to do that. And so he turned back to where he grew up and said, how can we do something back in the neighborhood here in Newark, New Jersey, and really create a model, both a nonprofit and a self-sustaining economic engine in the form of a for-profit company. But how could we do this and really help the next generation of entrepreneurs coming up to do something pretty spectacular? And that really resonates with me. So to tell you guys my own story.
Hey, before you continue, I just wanted to say, since you had people there wave hello to us, we'll do the same as well.
What's up? We got a whole bunch more people. So
and
these guys
and this side
behind me, they're all watching. So what is up?
Great, and say hello to Stephen Bianco. He's a good friend who's the CEO there at Founders.
Definitely.
Yeah, and Gerard Adams is the one who founded Elite Daily, co-founder of Elite Daily, and he got it up to like 70 million unique visitors at Elite Daily, and then finally got acquired like 2 or 3.
Put your head in here and say what's up, Gerard. What's going on, everybody?
Hey, Gerard, how are you?
Okay. Amazing. You know, Tom's killing Cooper is a good song. I mean, this is Pure School is at its finest if you want to be an entrepreneur. So we're all excited to hear his story. We're blessed to have him here at Founders. We welcome all of you. Maybe we'd love to get a tour and see what this is all about. But pretty cool, man. This is pretty rad. This is a pretty rad.
We will definitely do that. Thank you.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Small world, man. All right, so to dive into my story, I went to film school and I ultimately met these guys. So go to film school, by the way, and thought that my life was going to be set, taken care of. I was going to get the 3-picture deal. It was all going to be amazing. And then by the time that I graduated, I really done a terrible job on my senior thesis film. And I was flirting with depression, did not know what I was going to do with my life. I literally made a phone call to my mom on a payphone, because back when payphones existed and cell phones were not what they are today, and was laying on the ground in the middle of campus with all these people screaming behind me, saying to her, like, I'm a total failure, what am I ever going to do? And I thought that I would graduate, get the 3-picture deal, the rest of my life would be set. And for me, art always had to marry with commerce. And the reason that I chose film was not only did I think that it was the ultimate human expression in terms of being able to control psychology, which to me is the name of the game, but it was, certainly as a kid in the 80s, it was how you got rich. And I had actually looked at one point, like, do I become a poet? Like, is that going to be my thing? And I ruled that out because it couldn't make me money being a poet. And so film seemed like the perfect opportunity to really bask in human psychology, to work in an art form that made me feel alive, and to really generate wealth in my life. And so there I was at the end of my senior year, feeling like an abject failure, not knowing how to do anything. So I graduated really feeling hopeless and lost. And I think that's where a lot of people's story picks up. I'm sure that's where some of you are now or will be shortly when you graduate, realize how much debt you have. And certainly I'm sure some people in this room, that is a story that will really resonate. And so I graduated, just did not know what this was going to do with my life, and I ended up teaching. And in teaching filmmaking, they say the fastest way to learn something is to teach it. I think that's incredibly true, but I want to introduce you to a phrase that is very, very meaningful to me, and it may not resonate with all of you, but there's going to be a couple of people for whom this is entirely true, and it may set you on a totally different path, and it's certainly why I'm here speaking to you today. This is a quote. This isn't something I thought of, but it just really, really hit me. I don't speak so that I can be understood. I speak so that I can understand. There's something about the way that my mind processes data that for me to be able to speak it out loud, to have to teach it, to really have to wrap my mind around it in a way that makes it externalizable, in that process, I really begin to understand it. And so getting into teaching was when I really began to understand, first of all, just human anatomy and really looking at the brain. And as an artist and as anybody that's trying to build a business, I promise you, if you don't understand the brain, you'll never understand your customers. And if you don't understand your customers, you're never going to understand why they don't act in the way that you expect them to act. So if you guys know, Dan Ariely wrote the book, The Upside of Irrationality, and a whole bunch of books on the topic of how people act in totally what seem like completely irrational manner. But when you really begin to understand that human beings are not what they call econs, they don't use perfect logic, that they have insecurities, that they're petty, that they are fearful, insecure creatures, that's when you'll really begin to understand how to give them something that they'll actually respond to. And all of that began to be very, very clear to me as I was teaching it. And I had to understand filmmaking well enough to explain it to the next generation. And in that, you can actually really learn and understand filmmaking. And these two guys came to take my class. They were very successful entrepreneurs, which for me was like the unicorn, right? It was like, oh my God, like here were these guys, they were in their early 30s, they were yoked, just totally buff and ripped. And as a kid, I'd always said to myself, and I grew up in a morbidly obese family. And for me, there were just two promises that I had made myself. One day, I will have six-pack abs, and I'll be rich. And those were the two things that I just was hell-bent to make happen in life. So here these two guys were, they had six-pack abs and they were rich. And I thought, well, I have a theory in life, and that is, no matter what you're trying to do, find somebody who's done it at least once and third bite. Because you know, at least one time it worked. Every other bit of advice that you're going to get suspect. So these two guys said, look, Tom, you're coming to the world with your hand out, and if you really want to make film and control your art, you're going to have to learn to control the resources. And that began my entrepreneurial journey. And they said, we're starting this new company, it's a technology company, and we need a copywriter. So why don't you come join us and be a copywriter here at our company, but don't think of yourself as a copywriter. Really understand you can have any job you want in the company, you just have to become the right person for that job. And I was just young enough and just dumb enough to take them at the word, and so I went in on it, whole hog, really trying to get good. And by that point, I'm really starting to read a lot. I'm thinking very deeply about how to acquire skills. And so going through that process, I'm trying to acquire skills, and I end up in what becomes a really transitional moment for me, and it's probably the most important pivotal moment for me as an entrepreneur. And that was, these two guys were way smarter than me, and I'll define smart as the ability to process raw data very rapidly. That's how I define intelligence, and they could just process data faster than I could. So they would usually get to the right answer faster than me. It made me feel really stupid, and so I started doing really weird things because they were making me feel stupid all the time. And one of those weird things was, because it made me feel insecure, and because up to that moment, I had a fixed mindset. And who just by a show of hands here at Rutgers, who's heard of a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset? All right, good, a lot of people. So sadly, I had not heard that. So I was trapped in a fixed mindset, not having any idea what the difference between a fixed and a growth mindset was. And because I so valued myself on being smart, and up to that point, I had often been the smartest person in the room, and that sort of carried me through college and served me when I was teaching, and that was really beginning to hold me back. And I found myself one day arguing against them for an idea that secretly was their idea, I knew was better for the business. So I knew my idea was wrong, but I really, really needed to win. I needed to be right. And because that was going to make me feel smart. And so I kept arguing until the point where they finally agreed with me. Now, the problem with that is I had the goal of I want to get rich. And here I was arguing for an idea that I knew was worse for the company. So I had a moment of crisis, and I thought, what do I really want? Because it feels good to have them say that I'm right, even though I know that I'm wrong. And that seems really weird. And it's certainly counterproductive to the fact that I want to get rich. So I need to decide right now what I'm really about. What's my real goal? Because my real goal is to just feel good about myself right now today. Then I need to own that and just say, I'll do anything, I'll do whatever it takes to feel good, to be the smartest person in the room. And then I will start putting myself in rooms where I am smarter than everybody else. And that means getting away from these two guys, not working with them, and going back to what I call being the king of remedial jobs. And that really was, I used to actually refer to myself as that. And I said it with pride, but not realizing that I was doing it because I had a fixed mindset that made me feel good about myself to be the smartest person in the room. Or do I actually want to generate wealth in my life? And if I do, I need to stop being a dumbass and arguing for ideas that I know are wrong and accept that I'm not always going to be the smartest person in the room, and that teaming up with people smarter than me is probably a really good strategy for actually getting ahead in business. And that's when I realized the fundamental truth of the human condition. Everybody, and I mean everybody, has to feel good about themselves. And the moment that you no longer believe you could ever feel good about yourself again, you commit suicide, right? That's what happens. They no longer believe that their life could ever contain joy again. They are so down on themselves about something that's false. It's not true. Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. But when you believe that you could never feel good again, it's actually a fairly logical response. And so I thought, what you build your self-esteem around matters. And it matters a lot. And most importantly, it's a choice. Most people don't stop to think that you actually made a choice at some point in your life. Maybe it was from an early win from your parents. They praised you for being intelligent. Maybe it was an early win in dance or rap or whatever. People get some early feedback. For me, it was comedy. And I used to want to be a stand-up comic. And I had poured a lot of time and energy into becoming a stand-up comedian. And there, I'm convinced there are still people that I went to high school with that think I'm a struggling stand-up comic anymore. Because that was where I was going. Because that's where I got my early wins. And so I realized that all these things were building into how I was creating the mental framework in my life. And if I was going to get to my goals, six-pack abs and creating wealth, that I was going to need to build my self-esteem around something that was anti-fragile. And if you guys haven't read the book Anti-Fragile by Nassim Taleb, I highly encourage it. I think anybody that wants to be successful in life needs to read that book. Something that is strong, something that has tremendous fortitude, is still determined by its breaking point. It's merely that its breaking point is farther away than most things. Something that is anti-fragile is something that grows stronger the more it's attacked. Okay, really think about that for a second. How do you build your self-esteem around something that is anti-fragile so that the more somebody comes after you, the better you get? That actively being attacked is something that will only make you stronger. And so what I realized I needed to start building my self-esteem around was not being right or being smart. It was being the learner and identifying the right answer faster than anybody else. And that inner willingness to admit that I was wrong and become the energy behind the right idea, that I could feel good about myself while moving myself towards my goals. So I began to build my self-esteem around being able to admit that I was wrong, never being trapped by my idea, so that if I had an idea that I believed in wholeheartedly 30 seconds before, I was arguing hardcore and fully committing myself to the answer, and then I realized that I was wrong, I was building my reputation, my self-esteem on, whoa, I actually realize now that I'm wrong. This person's right. I'm never going to get behind their idea 100%. I would laud them, I would cheer for them. I would say, this is their idea, but I now so believe it, I'm going to get behind it. And in doing that, somebody could call me an idiot. They could say that I was stupid, and that was fine, because I didn't pride myself on being smart. In fact, you'll hear me refer to myself now routinely as I'm not that smart. And once you understand why I continually reinforce that in myself, you'll be ready for the advanced class. Because people tell me to stop doing it all the time, and they don't understand that saying out loud that I'm not very smart is literally the source of my power. It's how I built a billion-dollar brand. It's how I turned myself into an incredibly wealthy human being. It is the reason that I do all the things that I want to do, because I don't take pride in that. What I take pride in is being able to nakedly stare at my inadequacies, address them, gain skills in that area. So if you tell me I'm stupid and you're right, all you've done in an anti-fragile way is point out an area that I need to gain a new skill in. And now you've taken me from blind to having sight. So the more you come after me, if you're wrong, I just ignore you. And if you're right, you point out something that I need to develop and get better at. So everybody in my life who's attacked me has done one of two things. Legitimately pointed out something that I need to get better at, in which case I do without any misstep. I don't waste time feeling badly about myself. I just recognize that skill that I need to acquire and I go out and acquire it. Or I believe that you should be motivated by beauty and rage. So if they're merely trying to tear me down and they're wrong, I just get off on proving them wrong. And that is what I'll say is 20% of what fuels me. 80% is the beauty of the things that I want to build and create and bring to this world, and 20% is fuck you. Okay? It's just the truth, right? And I know not everybody is going to get into that, but that served me on a lot of cold winter nights, I can tell you. The fire that you can get from just wanting to prove somebody wrong, as long as you don't spend too much time dwelling on negative. And that brings us to my obsession with movies, especially Star Wars, where they talk about the power of the dark side. Because the dark side is so powerful. That's how it seduces people. But to pretend that it's not powerful is a waste of time. So I try to find that balance. All right, so that was me. I made that switch. From that, then I started chasing money in earnest. And my only goal in the universe was to get rich. And I made everything sit in the backseat to that. I pursued wealth the way that a man whose head is on fire pursues a pond. I'm not kidding. I didn't take days off. If I was awake, I was working or working out. That was it. Period. Plain and simple. For about 6.5 years, with rare exceptions, it wasn't 100%, but it was so fucking close. I didn't take days off. I wouldn't let my wife take days off. I was traveling like at Christmas time to see her family. I was working the whole time that we were there. It was just crazy. And then I finally hit my next emotional crisis, which became that real rock bottom moment for me that was absolutely critical, where I realized that, as this poster says, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure, from Tony Robbins. That is so true. And I was finally making more money than I'd ever made in my life. I thought, isn't this what I said that I wanted? And inside, I was living the cliche of money can't buy happiness. So I went to my business partners, and by that point, by the way, I'd gone from copywriter to 10% owner in the company purely through sweat equity, and the chief marketing officer in the company. And I said, guys, here's your equity back. I quit. I can't do this anymore. I'm not prepared to chase money for the rest of my life. This just doesn't make sense. And I'm here to tell you guys, if you're motivated by money right now, you've already lost. The shot that will kill you has already been fired. You just don't yet know you're bleeding to death. Now, I'll get to the good part, but trust me when I say that that is true. So go with I quit. I'm driving home. My wife and I have talked about it. We're going to move to Greece. I'm going to get back into art. I'm going to pursue that. And I'm now going to be very, very okay with not making a lot of money because I know what that looks like. And making money to the detriment of feeling good right now, today, feeling alive, doing what Joseph Campbell calls following your bliss, it leads nowhere interesting. I am pulling into my driveway, and my phone rings, and it's my business partners. And they say, dude, we could do this without you, but we don't want to. And those are the magic words that I needed to hear. I needed to reconnect to something other than the money. I needed to not think about the money. I wanted to connect to the brotherhood and remember why I had stayed with these guys for so long, people that I cared so deeply about. I said, awesome, I love that, but I have to make a mandate, which is we need to build a new company built around something that we believe in, that's based on delivering value, that's all about passion, and most importantly, that we would love doing even if we were failing. They said they felt the same way. We ended up selling that company and starting this crazy idea, which everyone assured us was a terrible idea, was to get into the ultra-crowded protein bar market and start this company called Quest Nutrition. Now, for me, and we founded the company for 3 very different reasons, but for me, I had grown up in a morbidly obese family. I was watching my mom and my sister struggle profoundly with their weight. I knew that I was going to lose them much earlier than I needed to because they were in an abusive relationship with food, and I wanted to help them get out of it. And I believed that we had unique insights that were going to make that possible because we understood human psychology. We understood that we needed to make food that they could choose based on taste, and it happened to be good for them. Now, to fast forward, because I know that we need to leave time for questions. To give you guys an idea, the company that we sold at Quest, after 3 years, we were making more in a day than the previous company made annually. Okay? By saying, I don't care about money anymore. I'm only going to ask what's more valuable, what delivers more value to the customer. I'm going to focus on passion. I'm going to do things that make me feel alive today, not at some future point, but today. I want to connect. I want it to be about community. Back in 2009, when we first started conceiving of the company, we were saying social is the way forward. And we understood it. We understood that it was about community, that social media is just a megaphone. It's a way to connect. And that it was going to completely alter business. And so the company took off. In 2014, Quest was named as the second fastest growing company in America by Inc. magazine. We grew by 57,000% in our first 3 years alone. The company was valued at over $1.2 billion, made me a fantastically wealthy person. It's absolutely nuts. And it was all because I felt so fucking dead inside. I said, I'm never going to chase money again. So the great irony, my friends, the greatest irony you will ever face, the only way for you to deliver enough value to people to really generate wealth in your life is to believe something so much that you'd be willing to die for it and then live for it. Find that thing you would die for and live for it. Build something around it that people believe is so valuable they'll pay for it. Remember, value is the only thing that's sustainable. That's it. Value. If you deliver enough value, you can sustain it over time. Clever marketing will give you short-term wins. But delivering value is sustainable. Now, there's got to be a lot of business acumen and all of that. You're going to have to learn how to grow a business. You're going to have to learn how to be profitable. You can't get lost in the dream. It's got to be the dream. It's got to be the passion. It's got to be the will to fight, married to actual understanding of business principles. I don't ever want that to get lost. And what I have dedicated myself to is answering the no bullshit question, how do you transmit those ideas to people in a way that they can actually go leverage and do something with? Not trying to just tack it on at the end, but getting to the fundamental way in which they build your personality. Because that, at the end of the day, is how you guys are going to figure this out. You're going to alter your vision of yourself. You're going to alter what you build your self-esteem with. You're going to go from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. You're going to get to a place where you either bring something amazing into the world and get rich, and yet be able to hold the competing idea in your head that wealth matters. Creating wealth matters. Having access to resources matters. And that is why people will never stop chasing it. There are two things everybody universally condemn and universally chase. And the reason is both of what I'm about to say are real. And if you fail to understand their power, you will fail to tap into something incredibly useful. One, fame. Fame matters. There's a reason that this man is stepping out front. There's a reason that there's like 8 cameras in this room right now. There's a reason that social media has taken off the way that it's taken off. There's a reason that we've all looked up to actors for generation on generation. Because that's the way the human animal works. We are a relative species. We look to see where we fall in the tribe. We give our most attention to the most high status members. And attention really fucking matters. The second thing is resources. Access to resources matters. And if you don't have access to resources, you simply won't be able to do the things that somebody with resources will. Bill Gates is going to thermal area and is going to do it because he has access to resources. So I am totally unconflicted about my accumulation of wealth. And I think that anybody that does it in service of other people, that just makes the demand they're going to deliver so much value that people would rather have that thing valued than money, now you win. You build it in a beautiful way, something that's value add, it's humanity plus, and yet allows you to accumulate resources. Think about what you're building here. You never would have been able to do this if you hadn't had the winning business. It's those things that allow the greatest minds, the most desirous, to pay it forward and to do something for other people. It's the resources that let them do that and not just be a lonely voice. And to think you guys would listen to me, imagine, I was just as fucking good at talking 7 years ago before we founded Quest as I am today. But nobody gave a shit until I had crushed it in business. And you shouldn't. Because up until that point, I hadn't done it at least once. So I'm not the person to go to for advice. But to lose sight of the fact that that matters, and that that's part of the play, and that the reason one of the 8 cameras in the room is my own, is to recognize the truth of the human condition. And that is my thing. Understand the truth of the human condition. All right, I could keep going all day. I will stop here. I'll let you guys ask questions. So, Rutgers, since I have more time with everyone here in Newark, after this, why don't you guys take it away?
Questions, can you just come up front so we can see you and just say it out loud? While he's doing that, who would like to ask any questions? Yeah, just come up.
So Tom, I'm glad you brought up the idea of profit and passion. I was actually listening to an interview of Elon Musk yesterday, and he mentioned the same thing about how after he realized that Tesla and SpaceX had a bigger purpose and passion, profit was not the primary goal. And after focusing on passion, it turns out they ended up making profit and becoming a little bit profitable. So I'm glad you were able to reiterate that point. And then another thing you also mentioned was humanity plus and humanity minus. So we actually had Vishen Skype in earlier this week, and he was sharing some of his insights into that as well. And I know both of you guys are on the board for X Prize. So I wanted to ask two questions. One, can you share a little bit about X Prize? And the second question is, you're a big fan of the Matrix series, and you gain a lot of inspiration from that. So if you could just enlighten the class with some of the insights that you learned from that, that would be great.
Yeah, for sure. So the X Prize is an incredible organization that said that there's a very exciting way to solve the world's grandest challenges. And that way is to harness the power of the crowd, which is something that I believe in, and Impact Theory's entire business model is about leveraging the power of the crowd. And this came from Peter Diamandis, the founder of the X Prize, read a book called The Spirit of St. Louis about how they incentivize somebody to fly across the Atlantic for the first time. And of course, Charles Lindbergh ends up winning that prize. But what most people don't recognize is that that trip was a result of a prize, and I believe the amount was like $40,000. And the amount of money that was spent across all the different teams to do that was something like $400,000. So he looks at the math on that and goes, wait a second, you can get essentially a 10x investment for what you actually have to pay out. And could we do that to privatize spaceflight? And so that was originally how the X Prize was conceived, was just to get us into suborbital flight twice in 2 weeks, I think, or 10 days, something like that, to make the rockets reusable, which was the first big problem. And you now see Elon Musk carrying that torch even further, and Virgin Galactic ended up buying the technology that won the X Prize. And then he realized it worked so well for that. There are all these other grand challenges like ocean cleanup, a lunar landing, just many, many other things that we could use that prize model for. And Peter's vision was to bring on 50 of the most successful and forward-thinking entrepreneurs on the planet that he could find, and he was kind enough to invite me to be a part of that. And so here we are. That's the X Prize. And then the Matrix is, so the way that human beings assimilate truly disruptive information is through narrative. That's just one of the parts of being a human. And we use language to convey story, narrative, metaphor. All of those things allow us to bond together in much larger groups than any other animal in the animal kingdom. And to me, the perfect metaphor for the human condition, especially in today's world, is the Matrix. And do you guys know Michael Strahan? All right, so Michael Strahan, an NFL Hall of Fame player, said that the Matrix changed his life in a very similar way that it changed him and changed me. And for Strahan, it was when he would get a sack in a game, he would think, I got my sack. That's, I could never get two in one game. And then he saw the movie The Matrix, which makes very clear that all the limitations that exist in your life exist because you put them there, that you created them in your mind. And so he said, okay, well, what if I could get 2, 3, 4, 5? How many sacks could I get? After watching that movie, he ends up setting the record for most sacks in the season. So The Matrix made me realize that all the limitations about who I could become were me putting them on myself. And that's the way the world works. And that I was living this life through my brain. And then my brain told me a lot of lies, trying to keep me safe, trying to create the world around me. It may have had good intentions, but ultimately it was telling me a lot of lies. And if I could understand them, and this is when I really dove into neuroanatomy and began to learn about the brain and the way that it tricks and fools you, that I could transcend that and I could push myself beyond that. And so for me it was, what was my version of jacking into the Matrix? It was reading. And then what was my kung fu? My kung fu was business. So I began to read obsessively about anything that I thought would help me in business. Ultimately learning to use Audible. You guys actually thumb through your books. Awesome. So Audible for me, I can take in auditory information much faster than I can visual information. So by getting through Audible, I can now read an Audible book at 3x. So I can assimilate the information very, very quickly, which is fantastic. And that's really what propelled me forward, was changing my identity to that of a learner, and then reading as many books as I could get my hand on that I felt fed into my goals. So to me, it just all comes back to the matrix and that metaphor, which allowed me to understand that.
Ready for the next question?
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Eric. For a lot of us, after getting out of college, we're trying to figure out what we want to do, and I sort of like many people have two paths. I want to do like a startup you talked about something that you're passionate about, something with a lot of value, and I already have an idea that for a startup that I'm passionate about. But I feel like, and I feel like it's easier to fail, however, versus going into the corporate world, gaining more experience, gaining more resources, developing a network, which you said was also very important. And however, going into more of a corporate setting, I wouldn't really be passionate as much with the work. So my question would just be like, how long should you wait to start your own company?
Okay, so I'm going to have an answer to that question that may not get me invited back to Rutgers, but because it's honest and true, I will give it to you. I want everyone to hold up their right hand and say, for the next 10 years, I'm not going to do anything in an attempt to get laid. Okay? Because here's how people fuck themselves up. And I'll notice that there was not a lot of people chiming in with that. People get themselves in trouble because they want to make a lot of money right away. And what you should be doing for the next 10 years is take not vow of poverty, because if you can escape it fast, escape it fast. But don't do anything for money for the next 10 years. And most people are peacocking. They're trying to impress people. They want to go out on cool vacations. They want awesome nights out. And if instead you could say, for the next 10 years, it's not a big deal if I'm poor. Like, nobody's sweating you in your 20s if you're broke, okay? But at some point, everyone is going to start sweating you. And you're going to start making really stupid decisions to not be socially embarrassed, okay? But fresh out of college, nobody cares if you're making money. So all the fools, they go out and get the highest paying job they can, regardless of whether it makes them feel alive. And so maybe let's say they crush it, and they start making, God, let's get really gross. Can we get really gross for a second? Let's say they crush it, and they're making $5 million a year. Okay? I've made 5 times that in a day. Let that freak you out for a second. Okay? So the number of people that are going to make that in a year are infinitesimal. Most people are going to be doing the 150 to 250 range. So for you to trade your passion and all the things you want to do and create for that is crazy. So to me, it's really about getting out there, fail as fast as you can, learn as much as you can, start the business today. It's almost certainly going to suck. Your first business is going to blow. You're going to eat shit publicly. It's going to be horribly embarrassing. But you're going to come out the other side with so much knowledge, and you'll know how to wrap it into the next thing.